Welcome to Mental Health America of Virginia's Staying Mentally Healthy and Fit presentation. This is an overview of tools and strategies for mental health and wellness, and I am your facilitator, Cheryl DeHaven. We are Mental Health America of Virginia. You can find us at our website here at mhav.org. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. And our mission is to educate, empower, and advocate to improve the mental health of all Virginians. We have part of a national network, and we are at the state level representative, and we have local affiliates around the Commonwealth. Our learning objectives today, learn about the prevalence of mental health challenges. We're going to explore opportunities to live well, based upon MHA's Living Well for Mind for Body initiative. We're going to learn how to access self-assessment tools available through Mental Health America. And we're going to understand how to access do-it-yourself tools and other resources available through Mental Health America of Virginia. So just some quick facts, a little bit of background information. How prevalent is mental health? And in the United States, nearly 1 in 5 Americans have a diagnosable mental health condition in any given year. So as you can imagine right now with the pandemic, there's probably been an increase in those numbers. When we look at the types of experiences, adverse experiences people are having with mental health, we see anxiety is one of the most prevalent disorders, and this one is coming in at 31.6%, which is pretty high. And then we get to substance use, also a mental health issue, 8%. And you can see with some of the other ones, bipolar disorder, 1.8%, and with depression, 7%. So 7 out of 100 people are experiencing depression. We also know about post-traumatic stress disorder. There's a 5%, almost 6% percentage of lifetime prevalence with that. Schizophrenia, there's a smaller population there that have these experiences, less than 1%. And 4% of adults are experiencing suicidal thoughts. In terms of geographics, who is being affected? And we can see that 17% with the Black African American community, 15% with Latinx Hispanic American community, and 13% with Asian American Pacific Islander community. These are pretty high numbers. Also with the Native American, Alaskan Native community, 23%, multiracial, 25%. And the largest population here identified by demographic is the LGBTQ plus community, with 37% experiencing mental health issues. So now we want to look at what can we do? What can we do to support ourselves and live well for mind and for body? And looking at the whole person, a very holistic approach to living well. And we have some things in store for you in the presentation that I hope you'll benefit from learning about, things you may already know, but also hopefully some new information and some resources and tools you might not know about that might come in handy for you. Or if you have a loved one who might be experiencing challenges, they might be some resources for them or resources for you as a loved one. You know, what can you do to support someone who's struggling? So we're going to get to explore much more of that in the coming slides. So first, our mental health is in constant flux and ebbs and flows on a daily basis. Many things can impact this, including our physical health. So the connection between our physical body and our mental health is important and may be something worth exploring when thinking about staying mentally healthy. So we're going to learn more about whole health and what you can do to improve your overall wellness. And there's some links here for you to follow up with later if you want to know more. So first, yes, let's talk about fitness. And we're going to jump right into exercise. All right. So of course, staying active can definitely benefit us, not only physically, but also mental health, right? So incorporating some type of exercise daily into our routine can certainly help us. And I can attest to this myself personally. And when the pandemic hit and we became very isolated and working from home, I found it very helpful to start walking on a regular basis. And it really had a lot of benefits to my mental health, to my physical health, things that I had not experienced with routine exercise before. So there was a lot to be gained from just a simple regimen of incorporating exercise into my daily activities. It's very powerful. So let's learn some more about this. So exercising benefits nearly all aspects, right? The whole person. It can help your muscles, your bones, help you live longer, all of those things. So it can definitely make us feel good and want to live longer when we're so healthy. So exercise has lasting benefits. So when a person doesn't get enough exercise, that's when we start to see some, problems with heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, and cancers and other metabolic syndromes. And so just doing regular exercise or not doing exercise regularly can lead us to having some real physical issues. Of course, some of the benefits that we can generate our own chemicals in our brain that will make us feel good and rejuvenated. And so there's the 5 substances here that we can stimulate through exercise. And I'm sure most of you have heard of these. A couple of these I had not heard of. So I'm learning this as well alongside you all. So brain-derived neurotrophic factor. So what is that? It's a protein that creates and protects the nerve cells in the brain. And so that helps these cells transmit messages more efficiently. So it's like the traffic is running smoothly, right? There's no blockages, there's nothing in the way, things are moving. And so that's what it can help us do when we stimulate the brain-derived neurotrophic factor through exercise. And this can regulate depression-like behavior. So there we're starting to see some of the mental health gains of exercising and triggering these responses in our brain. Of course, we know about the endorphins, that this is what is released when we experience stress or pain, and it reduces their negative effects and increases pleasure throughout the body. So endorphins are also responsible for the euphoric feeling known as a runner's high. So that's something we can experience when we exercise, and intense exercise for long periods of time. We can trigger these stimulating chemicals in our brain that make us feel good. Serotonin. Serotonin is another neurotransmitter that increases during the exercise. So this plays a role in things like appetite, sleep, and mood. And so these are really important, right? To be able to have a healthy appetite, to be able to sleep well, and to have pretty, regulated moods, if you will. It is the target of meds. You may have heard of SSRIs or SNRIs, which are used to treat anxiety and depression. And so they are related to the serotonin neurotransmitter. We can just get that from exercise. Dopamine. Dopamine is involved in controlling movement and the body's reward response system. So we want to activate this, and exercise can help us stimulate this. And it also helps us experience the pleasure from doing things that make us feel good, like exercise. Without this, we could have issues like mental health conditions, including depression, schizophrenia, and psychosis. So dopamine is something that is important in our mental health. And then the glutamate and GABA, gamma amino butyric acid. So I'm hoping I'm saying that correctly. All right, so this is the part of the brain that processes visual information, determines our heart rate. So think about that, the impact of that, and affect the emotions and the ability to think clearly. So it's really interesting to see how all of these chemicals in our brain or neurotransmitters can help stimulate us and prevent us from feeling badly, or it can also help counteract when we may be having those experiences of feeling badly. I've heard that exercise is one of the greatest remedies, strategies, tools available to promote our mental health and physical well-being that's out there. And it's free. You can do it, and you can join a gym. It's a minimal amount to do such a thing, to invest in our lifelong health and wellness. Let's look at the exercise, how it can prevent mental illness and can be an important part of treatment. So just an hour of exercise a week could lower the levels of mood and anxiety and substance use disorder. One study found that people with anxiety exercise had similar effects to cognitive behavioral therapy in reducing symptoms. So this is helping the same way and having the same type of impact that would if you were going to therapy and talking through your struggles or stressors. Among the US people in the US, those who do physical activity as part of their daily routine are likely to have depression, less likely to have depression, panic disorder, and phobias, extreme fears. I can certainly understand. I myself have had panic disorder and phobias of going out so badly because of the panic disorders. And so this can be something that can help counteract that. Just having a regular exercise routine. I know when I really struggled with it, when I had a regular routine, like with yoga or just getting out and doing some walking, it definitely helped at least a little bit. And then speaking of yoga, for people with schizophrenia is the most effective form of exercise for reducing positive and negative symptoms associated with the disorder. So that's new information for me. I know yoga is a practice that a lot of people engage in, and it's been being promoted across mental health recovery communities and addiction. So how much exercise should you be getting? So I know for me, if it's too big, if it's too much, then it's less likely to be successful and to meet my goals. So just doing small things, small steps is one way to be successful. So 10 minutes of moderate or vigorous activity at a time, 15 minutes a week will get you to the recommended amount. So that's pretty minimal right there. I know for myself, I've moved from sitting at my desk in the past couple of years to standing. So very seldom am I sitting during the course of my 8-hour workday. And I'm certain that has a significant amount of impact on my well-being and my strength. And it feels really good. It feels weird when I sit down for a long period of time. I've really gotten used to it and enjoy it. I like to be able to move around, I think is part of that. Muscle strengthening activities can be incorporated just a couple times a week as well. And that includes that yoga we were talking about a little while ago that's very popular. And it's just so many benefits. I could go on about that as well. Lifting weights, resistance band exercise, those are kind of fun. There's lots of videos. There's lots of places you can go, like ACAC, where you can get your membership and attend exercise groups that might be more stimulating. I know for myself, being able to exercise with others definitely makes it more pleasurable, and I'm more committed. I'm more likely to show up when I'm doing it with a group of people or with a friend. Of course, being mindful of not overdoing it, right? So I have to be careful of that as well, right? So if you're taking steps to live a healthy life, but you still feel like you're struggling, Mental Health America has screening that you can take. And so we're going to go over to the website and just take a look around at some of these screening tools. It's going to take just a minute to get the screen share switched here. And we'll get that website open. All right. And so here we are at the screening tools website from Mental Health America. And as you can see, there are multiple types of screenings that you can take. Mental health conditions such as depression or anxiety are real. They're common and they're treatable, and recovery is possible. And I can certainly attest to that, having a severe panic disorder myself. So you can see you can do a depression test, psychosis, bipolar, parent tests, your child's mental health, youth mental health test. There's some tests also in Spanish. There's an addiction test, PTSD test. There's also workplace mental health survey and mental health next steps quiz. So what if you do find out you might have tested in one of these assessments that you are suffering from depression or bipolar, then what? And so we'll definitely get into that as we continue. I'm going to stop screen share and go back to the slide deck. So let's continue. So other ways that we can support our mental health and physical health is animal companionship. And so I think I saw the statistic of 70% of people have pets in their home, and that's quite a bit. And so this tells you here about some of those benefits, right? It's benefiting people with cancer, helps reduce anxiety and depression, especially during aggression, during treatment. It can help people with mental illnesses, such as having animal assisted interventions. They can help reduce anger, anxiety, depression, and general distress. So you may have seen where people have service animals or therapy dogs, and how beneficial even horses and things like that, I think, have been used in helping people. Absolutely therapeutic. So you can see here, it's a great way to improve mood, reduce our heart rate, relax. I know for myself working home, another great benefit is I'm not in my chair, but my cat's in my chair. And so I'm able to turn around and pet my cat at any point during the workday, unless it's feeding time, and then they'll let me know for sure. And then there's people being treated for HIV. Those who own dogs showed fewer symptoms of depression. right? And so just having that companionship can really make a significant difference in somebody who's struggling. And it certainly is making a difference in the lives of the pets who are being loved and as well. It works both ways. What about humor? Everybody loves to laugh. So that has a lot of benefits. So if you're feeling bad, it's always, explore that feeling. It's okay to feel bad. It's okay to feel down. But to also know there's ways that we can move ourselves out of those emotions through our thoughts, through our experiences. And one of those is humor. We actually decrease the level of stress hormones when we laugh. Think about all the energy that it takes when you get into that really, gut laughter. I don't know the word for it, but the belly laugh, where it's just uncontrollable, and how healthy that is, how it can defeat those stress hormones. And it also exercises our hearts and lungs. And again, all that energy that it takes to laugh. It increases the activity in our brain's reward system. So as you can imagine, it's fun, it's easy, it's enjoyable, and something that I find can be super helpful when I don't want to put a lot of energy into something myself, and I can be more passive, but yet very stimulated enough to release hormones and to really benefit from it. So staying healthy could be just watching something very funny, going to a comedy show, watching funny videos. So again, it can really help, especially when people have chronic health conditions. So not only help them reduce the risk, but also when people are sick, it can help them heal and recover and find joy and pleasure despite the challenges and the pain. If a person is in intense pain, then if there's an opportunity to find laughter in something, think about how that can make a person feel just for a minute. I know for myself, when I don't feel good, if I find myself being distracted, I'll forget about the pain for a minute or whatever it is that's bothering me, just to move as a distraction. A healthy distraction can actually be very healthy. So what are other ways we can work on our mind and body and stay healthy? So social connections and recreation. It is so important. We're wired for connection, and these connections when people struggle with mental health issues, sometimes the first things that go away are the people that we're close to. Maybe people don't understand, or maybe we separate ourselves from those who care about us because of the way we're an important component of our human existence to be connected. That when that then starts to be impacted, it can have a lot of it can create more depression, more symptoms, more negative experiences. So finding ways to stay socially connected and recreation, right? And that's a great way to do it, being in a sports team or going with friends to an amusement park or going to a social gathering in the community, doing things with like-minded people or family. All of those things can be very stimulating, very rewarding, and again, can help us live longer. So take a vacation. I always heard that when you get back from a vacation, go ahead and get the next one on the books, right? Always give yourself something to look forward to. And again, that's focusing on the positive energy that keeps me passionate about what I'm doing next, right? What's in front of me. There's ways that I can strategically use the way I plan things or think about things or find the fun in things that I think might be hard to do, like walking every day. Finding the fun in those opportunities to make myself more wanting to do them. So, when I get involved in doing fun things with people like playing board games, I myself don't play musical instruments, but I love going to listen to music. I love dancing is fun, and that's always fun whether I'm at home or out in the community and listening to some live music. It's a lot of fun and it's great exercise. But that social connection of all that energy of being around other people and how that can feed my health, my mind and my body, doing myself good. Remember to take time for myself and give myself these wonderful gifts. And dancing people who were dancing were less likely to develop dementia. Oh my goodness. I think I want to start dancing now. All right. And then people with schizophrenia and other serious mental illness. So who participated in some of these programs where they were connecting with others, they experienced increased quality of life across different measures and a drastic reduction in hospitalization rates. So again, these experiences, adverse mental health experiences, can be very hard on our social connections. And so finding opportunities where we can be around like-minded people understand what it's like to be where we are, and are finding strategies and ways to manage that while working, living, and playing in the community in ways that are important to us, can really help people stay out of the hospital. To have meaningful participation in life. It's a lot of research has been done on community participation and the benefits for people for those social connections at work. We make friends at work. So there's a lot of ways. And right now with the pandemic, a lot of that has been limited, but we have found ways to stay connected with the internet, with Zoom meetings and opportunities like this, even coming to you recorded later. We're still connecting, and that feels good. I am trying to advance this slide. Oh, I think I went. There it goes. All right. So how about spirituality and religion? So of course, spirituality may mean something different for everyone. But the people who do practice or have religious and spiritual activities can definitely affect body chemistry and brain activity again, just like we saw in exercise. It can combat stress. It can increase those feel-good chemicals that we enjoy. All of those things, just like the other areas, activities that we can do to exercise, pets. I mean, look at all these wonderful opportunities we have to take care of ourselves and to enjoy all of what our mind and body is capable of doing for us. Another thing to be mindful of is work-life balance, right? And that can be challenging. I know for myself, working from home, sometimes I work longer or I work more. I'll work through lunch because I can just go grab a sandwich and come back to my desk and keep going. I have things I want to get done. And so it's setting that time up to play, right? And to be with other people and have social connections and to incorporate exercise and board games and dancing and all the things that this life has to offer us. So what if things aren't going so well? Where can you turn? So you can get professional help if you need it. Definitely, you can reach out to professionals like therapists or psychiatrists, if you feel like you're having a mental health experience that's making you feel poorly and you've tried some of these other things, it's just not working. And I know for myself, when I felt like I couldn't live, work, and play in the community like others because of my anxiety disorder, it became even more depressing. It became even more chronic. I felt very isolated and alone. And I was able to turn to professional help for that, to get treatment with people who understood how to work with people having these experiences. If you are in a crisis, you can definitely call the suicide hotline, which is 1-800-273-TALK. And there you will be assessed by a crisis worker. Or of course, if it's an emergency, don't hesitate to call 911 for immediate assistance. And for those of you who have been hearing about 988, that will also be a way to reach help out for mental health help, just as we do for 911. But if it's a mental health related emergency, we will be moving to 988. And in Virginia, that's looking like it will come around in 2022. So look out for that. There will be lots of announcements about that change. All right. So what else can you do? Let's look at some of these do-it-yourself tools. There are so many resources here from Mental Health America. And I'll show you some more from, hold on one second. I'm switching screens, so I'm shifting thoughts as well. I'm gonna make sure I get you to this page. It's just loaded with do-it-yourself tools. And so here you can see apps. You can find apps, worksheets, and other tools to improve your mental health on your own. So there's not always a need to turn to professional help. Please do not hesitate if you feel that is something to consider. But there are many, many, many pathways to recovery and to wellness. And so there's some things here for everyone. So it could be simple things like learning how to overcome thoughts. If you get stuck in your thoughts and want to have greater control over your thoughts, there's some tools there for that. Think ahead. So what if you did have a mental health crisis? Just like if you had a medical crisis and you wanted to write an advance directive on what kind of care you would want, you could also think ahead, plan ahead about a mental health crisis. And what would you want to do? What would you want to happen? How would you want to be cared for? Or where would you want to get help if you were in a mental health crisis? And what are the pathways? How can you get that support when you need it? How can you help a loved one access mental health crisis support? And what do they need? This is a great tool. There's emotional fitness game. So that looks like fun. You're not alone. Peer support app for the phone called Toucan, processing trauma and stress. A worksheet for feeling safe. So a lot of people might feel unsafe because of trauma experiences they've had, and trauma can have a significant impact on people's mental health as well. Practicing radical acceptance, prioritizing self-care. I know for me, self-care is huge, especially when I work in a field where I'm providing support to others. I have to keep my oxygen mask on first in order to be there for others. And so self-care has to be our priority, especially if I'm a caregiver or just somebody who's busy engaging with family members or loved ones, focusing on what others might need. I have to remember to take care of myself as well. So there's lots of things in here on that. A gratitude card, well, that can really pull my mind out of feeling badly. Give me a little lift. What are the things that lift you up? So there's lots. And this allows me here to load more. Total brain. Guided journal. So if you want a guided journal, there are things in here. how to calm, a path to calm, 4 steps to calm your mind. So the list goes on. So several resources. My brain is freaking out. So there's some information here on how you can ground yourself, right? Again, peer support. Peer support is a new profession. People with lived experience in recovery with mental health and or substance use or co-occurring disorders are trained how to use their lived experience and can provide support to other people who might be struggling. And so there's some apps for that. Lots of do-it-yourself tools, and I'll show you some more. So let's get back to the video, to the presentation. Thanks for hanging in there with me today. We almost finished this. For more information and resources, we'll look at Mental Health America Virginia website. So I'm going to open that one up here as well. Give me a second. We'll transition the screen for you. So we can have a peek at Mental Health America of Virginia page. And the page is loading. Here we are. Here's the Virginia affiliate of NAMI of Mental Health America of Virginia, Mental Health America. All right, so we have advocacy and public policy, right? So there's a lot of information out there, things we can learn and change policies, change laws to help promote wellness and to ensure that people are getting the care that they need in the community. Recovery education. So there's classes that we offer at Mental Health America Virginia. We have an advocacy class. We have what's known as consumer empowerment leadership training, which is another extensive advocacy course. It's all about self-advocacy, systems advocacy, programs advocacy at all levels. What can we do to improve mental health services and pathways for people to live life in the community? So lots of things. Restore is really good program as well. These others, specifically for people who may have been a victim of a crime or witness crime and traumatized by any type of crime or abuse, and talks about recovery and resilience from trauma. And that these are free classes that are offered. We have webinars, and on our webinars, there are multiple topics that people can watch on demand, or they can sign up to join one that's coming up. The Restore one is coming up in October. If you see this after October 20th, you might come back and look at our website to see when more will be offered. We do have some on-demand webinars. We have self-empowerment, which is a really good presentation, as well as a focus one on self-awareness and self-compassion. So scrolling down the webinar page, we have a recording for trauma, behavior, and shame, the road to resilience. And these are webinars that were created by people with lived experience of trauma and mental health and or substance use recovery themselves. And they've created these resources and tools and information and provided these webinars for people who are also having these experiences and helping show the way to recovery and resilience, and that recovery is possible. You don't have to do this alone. If you want to look more about mental health and advanced directives as a recovery tool for mental health, there's a video about that from the Disability Law Center of Virginia you can view on the website, and one on grief, loss, and resilience. This is really prevalent, a lot of grief and loss, especially during the pandemic for various reasons. Not only the pandemic, but political climate, race, relations, all of those things that are being addressed or not being addressed and are making it challenging for people to move through their experiences, and maybe also triggering mental health experiences or challenges because of the stressors of all of those things. So we have a warm line. So what's a warm line? And I'm going to show you some more about warm lines in a few minutes. So we also have the Virginia Peer Recovery Specialist Network. So as I told you before, it's a whole profession of peer recovery specialists in Virginia. And here is a place where the network of peer recovery specialists, you can learn more about the profession. How do you get trained? You can network with other people who are in this profession, and find out how you can actually get paid for your experiences and learn how to support others on their pathway to recovery and wellness. All right, I'm going to go back one more time to the Mental Health America Virginia website. And you can also learn more here about resources like May's Mental Health Month, MHA BIPOC Mental Health Month Toolkit, Back to School Toolkit. So lots of resources. The list just goes on and on. So I invite you all to come and check it out. And we do have our annual event, Victory for Mental Health. This is our big fundraising event of the year. And we've been doing art auctions. So people have been submitting art and we've been letting people bid on those. And that's been a little fundraiser activity for us. And it really helps us support Virginians with mental health and people who might be struggling, and help them get to the support and resources that they might benefit from. All right, so I'm going to switch back to the slide deck. We're almost there. All right, here's the update about the warm line. So we have Mental Health America Virginia. We have a peer support warm line that is operating 7 days a week. It's in the evenings, on the weekends and holidays. And these are people who are peer support, people in recovery with mental health issues and or co-occurring substance use. And they have been trained to be able to provide a listening ear, to provide emotional support, mental health support, to brainstorm self-care strategies on how to get through a really rough patch in our lives, or to manage some of these experiences that might be daily for some of us. And people don't have to do it alone. They can call for free and talk to someone on the peer line. We also have Mental Health America Virginia supports the Virginia COPE's COVID support line. This is also available right now. Here you can talk to trained crisis counselors about anything emotionally or struggles that you might be having as a result of COVID. So if you're having challenges in that area, you can contact the COPE's line. And we also support the Live RVA Addiction Recovery Peer Support Line. And they're open also 7 days a week. So if you yourself or someone has any concerns about addiction and where to turn when that might be happening, then you can call Live RVA. Mental Health America Virginia would love your support. We have all opportunities for volunteers. We can do board membership if that's something that you do, research, fundraising, grant writing, staffing an exhibit at a health fair, or if you're a peer yourself and you've been trained or learned through the Virginia Peer Recovery Support Network how to be a peer recovery specialist and want to get some experience, you can learn to apply to be one of our warm line operators. You can follow us on social media, and if you want to make a donation, you can choose us on Amazon Smile, make a donation right to us directly at PayPal. So we want to thank you all for sticking with me this evening, this afternoon, this morning, whatever time it is for you. And I hope you have learned some things, and wish you wellness mentally and physically.